After the age of 60, the human body begins to whisper messages that it once shouted in silence. The legs, those quiet pillars that have carried us through every step, every errand, every morning walk, begin to reveal signs of wear that are easy to dismiss at first. A little stiffness when getting out of bed, a sense of heaviness by evening, skin that feels drier than usual, and veins that appear more visible beneath the surface. What many do not realize is that these are not just cosmetic issues or ordinary signs of aging. They are reflections of something much deeper, a gradual slowing of circulation, cellular renewal, and nerve communication within the legs themselves. You see, the legs are a masterpiece of design. Beneath the surface lies a complex network of arteries, veins, and capillaries that work tirelessly to push blood against gravity. In youth, these vessels are elastic and strong. They respond instantly to every movement, every rise or fall in pressure. But as the decades pass, this responsiveness begins to fade. The blood vessels lose some of their tone. Valves that once closed tightly begin to weaken. The result is a quiet pooling of blood in the lower limbs, a slow stagnation that robs the tissues of oxygen and nutrients. Over time, the skin begins to thin, the muscles tire more easily, and even the nerves grow sluggish in their communication. What we often interpret as weak legs or poor stamina is in reality the body's way of saying that circulation has become compromised. The legs no longer receive the same level of nourishment from within. The cells struggle to regenerate as quickly. The skin becomes parched not because of a lack of external moisture, but because the very supply of hydration from beneath the microcapillary flow has diminished. The feet may grow colder. The knees may feel stiff or tender. And some tiny red or blue veins begin to lace across the calves, signaling that pressure within the smaller vessels has increased. It is also at this stage that many older adults begin to notice subtle numbness or tingling in the feet. They might call it pins and needles, and it comes and goes without warning. This too is a reflection of reduced blood and nerve communication. When circulation slows, the smallest nerve endings, those responsible for sensation, begin to suffer from oxygen deprivation. The message from the skin to the brain travels more slowly. You might feel that your legs are there, but they no longer speak to you the way they once did. Compounding this issue is the fact that, with age, the muscles in the legs lose a small but steady percentage of their mass every year. This process, known as sarcopenia, means that the very structures responsible for pumping blood upward during movement grow weaker. The calf muscles act like a secondary heart, each contraction helping to push venous blood back toward the chest. When these muscles become thin or underused, that pumping effect declines. Less blood returns to the heart, and more stays trapped in the lower limbs. It is a silent cycle that accelerates with inactivity. Furthermore, hormonal changes play a quiet but powerful role. The drop in estrogen and testosterone that comes with age affects the elasticity of blood vessels and the integrity of connective tissue. What once stretched and rebounded now feels tight or achy. The skin itself loses collagen, becoming less able to retain natural oils. That's why so many people over 60 begin to see a scaly or cracked texture, especially on the shins and ankles. It's not merely dryness from the air, it's dryness from within, an outward reflection of reduced vitality in the underlying tissues. Even temperature perception changes. Older adults may find that their feet remain cold no matter how many socks they wear, or that warm baths provide only temporary comfort. This happens because the body's ability to regulate blood flow through dilation and constriction weakens with time. The tiny vessels that once expanded to send warmth to the extremities no longer respond as efficiently. That's why for many the feet can feel cold even in summer or hot and swollen during humid nights. And while modern life often encourages sitting hours in front of screens, long drives, or extended rest, these habits further slow leg vitality. The body was designed for motion. Blood flow depends on movement. Every time we flex our ankles or rise to walk, we assist circulation. When we remain still for too long, fluid builds up in the tissues, leading to that familiar sensation of heaviness or puffiness around the ankles. It's not just a matter of comfort, it's a biological signal that the body's inner river has slowed to a trickle. The decline in leg vitality also touches upon the lymphatic system, the body's silent cleansing network. As circulation diminishes, the lymphatic flow that carries away waste products slows as well. This can result in subtle swelling, discomfort, or even a mild, dull ache by day's end. The legs, once vibrant and alive with motion, begin to feel as though they are made of something heavier than flesh, something burdened, something tired. Yet, perhaps the most overlooked aspect is how this decline affects one's confidence and independence. Strong legs are freedom itself. They allow a person to move without hesitation, to walk across a garden, to climb stairs, to dance at a family gathering. When the legs weaken even subtly, people begin to withdraw from physical activity. They avoid walks, they prefer sitting, and in doing so, they unknowingly accelerate the very decline they fear. It is important to understand that this process does not happen overnight. It is gradual, like a candle burning down, but it is not irreversible. The body, even at 70 or 80, retains the capacity for renewal. The cells of the skin and muscles still respond to care, circulation, and nourishment. What they require is not a miracle cure, but the right kind of support, something that can awaken the dormant flow of life within the tissues. In many ways, the legs mirror the rhythm of the entire body. When they grow cold, tired, or lifeless, it's a sign that the body's inner current has weakened. To restore vitality to the legs is to restore it to the self, to reignite circulation, to replenish collagen, to reawaken nerve pathways. When that happens, the skin begins to glow again, the muscles regain tone, and the simple act of walking once more becomes a quiet joy instead of a daily challenge. Walk into any pharmacy or supermarket aisle, and you'll find rows upon rows of creams, lotions, and oils claiming to restore youth to tired legs. They shimmer with promises, words like revitalize, deep repair, and age-defying hydration. Yet for most people who use them, the result is short-lived. The skin may feel soft for a few hours, the dryness may fade temporarily, but by the next morning the legs feel the same again, dull, tight, and lifeless. The reason lies not in the marketing, but in biology. Most commercial oils and creams are designed for the surface, not the system. They nourish what can be seen, but they do not reach what truly needs healing, the deep layers of skin, muscle, and blood vessels that sustain leg vitality. The outermost layer of the skin, called the stratum corneum, acts as a natural barrier. Its purpose is to keep external substances out while retaining internal moisture. While this function protects the body from toxins and bacteria, it also limits what can be absorbed from the surface. Many common cosmetic oils sit atop this layer, creating a film that locks in temporary moisture but never penetrates deeper. It's why legs may appear glossy for a while but feel dry again within hours. The oil never makes contact with the living skin cells underneath, where true repair occurs. Even more concerning is the composition of most over-the-counter oils. Many are filled with synthetic fragrances, silicones, and mineral oils derived from petroleum. These ingredients provide instant smoothness but offer no nourishment. Mineral oil, for example, creates a seal over the skin. It prevents water loss, yes, but it also prevents oxygen and nutrients from entering. It's a cosmetic illusion, not a cellular solution. The skin feels soft to the touch, but beneath that surface, nothing has changed. The capillaries remain sluggish, the collagen fibers stay weak, and the tissue continues to age quietly. Then there are plant-based oils that sound promising but lack therapeutic potency. Coconut, almond, and olive oil are excellent for maintaining hydration, but their molecular size and composition limit how deeply they can penetrate when applied without proper preparation. Without active compounds that stimulate circulation or repair, their effects remain superficial. They moisturize, not mobilize. They coat the skin, not revive the tissue. For older adults, this distinction is critical. With age, the skin's natural barrier becomes less efficient. It not only loses moisture faster, but also struggles to absorb nutrients efficiently. This means that applying surface-level oils without addressing circulation is like watering a garden whose soil has turned to stone. The moisture touches the surface, but the roots remain dry. True nourishment for the legs requires oils that can penetrate beyond the skin's surface and engage with the living tissue beneath. These oils must be rich in fatty acids, antioxidants, and natural compounds that interact with the body's own regenerative mechanisms. Certain oils like sesame, castor, mustard seed, and eucalyptus possess unique molecular properties that allow them to enter the skin's deeper layers and influence blood flow, nerve health, and collagen renewal. But these are rarely found in the glossy bottles lining store shelves. Another overlooked factor is the method of extraction. Cold-pressed oils retain the full spectrum of their natural enzymes, vitamins, and bioactive compounds. In contrast, refined or heat-processed oils, which dominate the commercial market, lose much of their vitality during production. When heated beyond a certain temperature, the delicate phytochemicals that give natural oils their healing power are destroyed. What remains is a lifeless lubricant, pleasant in texture but empty in function. Packaging and storage also play a role. Light and air-degrade oils over time. Many commercial products are stored in clear plastic bottles, allowing oxidation to occur long before the oil ever touches the skin. By the time it's applied, much of the original potency is gone. What's left is scent and texture, nothing more. It's no wonder the results vanish overnight. And then there's the issue of how the oil interacts with the body's internal environment. When applied to aging skin, the goal should not be surface shine but cellular restoration. That requires activating the body's microcirculatory network, the tiny capillaries that deliver oxygen and nutrients to the skin. Most store-bought oils lack the bioactive compounds that trigger this response. Without stimulation of blood flow, the tissues remain undernourished no matter how much product is applied. The legs may look better for a moment, but they remain tired underneath. To make matters worse, many people apply oils incorrectly. They pour a small amount into their palms, rub it quickly, and spread it over dry, cold skin. In this state, the pores are closed and circulation is minimal. The oil simply rests on the surface until it evaporates or wipes away. The proper method requires warmth both in the oil and in the skin. When the oil is slightly warmed, its molecules become more active and better able to pass through the skin's lipid barrier. Likewise, when the legs themselves are gently massaged beforehand or exposed to a warm compress, blood vessels expand, allowing the oil's nutrients to travel deeper. Without this preparation, even the best oil can do very little. The skin, much like the soil of a garden, responds differently depending on how it is tended. If it is coated without care, it remains hard and unyielding. If it is gently warmed, massaged, and nourished with living oils, it softens, breathes, and begins to heal. But that kind of transformation doesn't happen through commercial formulas built for convenience. It happens through deliberate, natural methods that respect the body's design. It's also important to understand that the benefits of natural oils go beyond appearance. Certain oils contain compounds like ricinoleic acid in castor oil, sesamol in sesame oil, and cineol in eucalyptus oil, which not only soften the skin but stimulate the peripheral nervous system and improve microcirculation. This is the difference between temporary comfort and true revitalization. When circulation improves, oxygen delivery increases, inflammation decreases, and tissue repair accelerates. The result is not just smoother skin, but stronger, more resilient legs that feel alive again. Commercial oils often ignore this deeper connection between the skin and the circulatory system. They are built around scent and sensation, what feels good at the moment of application. But the legs require more than perfume and gloss. They require life brought back to every cell. Without that, even the most expensive bottle will only provide fleeting relief, masking the real issue: stagnation beneath the surface. The truth is, most people have been taught to treat their skin from the outside in, when in reality, it should be cared for from the inside out by choosing substances that can communicate with the body, not just coat it. The legs, being furthest from the heart, need this communication most. They depend on circulation, warmth, and movement. And unless an oil supports those functions, it remains nothing more than a temporary disguise for a deeper imbalance waiting to be corrected. When it comes to restoring life to aging legs, the secret is not in any single ingredient, but in the intelligent harmony between a few key natural oils that work together with the body's biology. The right oil formula does not simply moisturize, it reawakens. It communicates with the skin, muscles, and blood vessels in a language the body still remembers, the language of warmth, flow, and cellular repair. This is where nature's pharmacy offers what modern cosmetic shelves rarely do. Oils that not only touch the skin but travel through it, nourishing the roots of circulation, nerve health, and collagen renewal from within. To understand why this formula works, we must first understand the architecture of the leg. Beneath the skin lies a dense network of capillaries, lymph channels, and connective tissue that all rely on healthy microcirculation. Every cell in that system depends on oxygen and nutrient delivery through these minute pathways. When that delivery slows, tissues dry, harden, or weaken. The right blend of oils can reverse this stagnation by gently heating, softening, and energizing the very vessels that feed the legs. It's not just topical care, it's internal support delivered through the skin. Among these natural allies, sesame oil has earned its ancient reputation as one of the most complete rejuvenating agents for the human body. Rich in vitamin E, zinc, copper, and linoleic acid, sesame oil possesses powerful antioxidant and anti-inflammatory properties. But what truly makes it remarkable is its molecular weight and warming nature. Unlike heavier oils that sit on the surface, sesame oil penetrates deeply into the skin's lipid barrier. It encourages vasodilation, the gentle widening of blood vessels, which improves circulation and oxygenation. When applied to the legs, it can reawaken blood flow in dormant capillaries, gradually bringing warmth to cold feet and vitality to dull, lifeless skin. Then there is castor oil, thick, dense, and slow-moving, yet one of the most therapeutic substances found in nature. Its primary active compound, ricinoleic acid, possesses remarkable anti-inflammatory and pain-relieving properties. When massaged into the legs, castor oil works like a deep restorer. It seeps into muscle and connective tissue, soothing inflammation and supporting nerve repair. It has long been used to relieve stiffness, reduce swelling, and enhance lymphatic flow, the body's natural cleansing process. Together with sesame oil, it creates a foundation for renewal. Sesame kindles the warmth, castor provides the depth. One awakens circulation, the other nurtures recovery. Eucalyptus oil adds a third dimension to this formula movement. While it is most famous for its aroma, its real strength lies in its ability to stimulate nerve endings and awaken sluggish microcirculation. A few drops blended into a carrier oil like sesame or castor can transform an ordinary massage into a therapeutic ritual. Eucalyptus increases oxygen delivery, clears stagnation, and sharpens nerve responsiveness. Its cooling, warming dual nature, initially brisk on the skin, then deeply warming, encourages balance. In tired or numb legs, this dynamic stimulation revives sensation, helping the nerves speak again to the brain. When these oils are combined in the right proportions, sesame as the carrier, castor for restoration, and eucalyptus for stimulation, they form a complete system of leg renewal. Each oil performs a unique role in a sequence of repair. The sesame oil softens the outer tissues and opens the pathways. The castor oil nourishes the deeper layers and eases inflammation. The eucalyptus oil reawakens movement, light, and communication within the tissues. Together they act almost like an orchestra, three distinct instruments blending into one coherent melody of healing. But even this formula requires understanding. Natural oils are living substances. They respond to temperature, pressure, and timing. They are not to be applied hastily or in cold, lifeless form. To unlock their true power, the oils must be gently warmed, never overheated, just enough to feel comfortably hot to the touch. This warmth changes everything. It activates the molecular structure of the oils, allowing them to spread evenly and penetrate more effectively. It also signals the body to open its pores and vessels, preparing the skin to receive nourishment. Once warmed, the application itself becomes part of the therapy. The oil should be massaged into the legs using slow upward circular strokes, always from the ankle toward the knee, never the other way around. This directional motion assists venous return, helping blood flow back toward the heart. It also stimulates the lymphatic system, encouraging drainage of toxins and excess fluid that often accumulate in the lower limbs with age. The key is consistency, not pressure. A few minutes each night, performed calmly and attentively, does far more than a single intense session. The science behind these oils extends beyond folklore. Studies have shown that regular topical application of certain plant oils improves skin barrier function, enhances microcirculatory blood flow, and reduces oxidative stress. The fatty acids in sesame and castor oil replenish the lipid matrix that holds skin cells together, preventing transepidermal water loss and improving texture. The antioxidants neutralize free radicals that damage collagen and elastin, the very fibers responsible for skin firmness. Eucalyptus oil, rich in 1,8-cineol, has been observed to improve peripheral circulation and stimulate thermoreceptors in the skin, effectively waking up cold or numb extremities. Together, these effects create a visible and tangible transformation within days. Another critical aspect of this formula is its ability to harmonize the sensory and circulatory systems. As we age, the body often loses a delicate feedback loop between sensation and blood flow. The nerves no longer communicate effectively with the vessels, leading to uneven temperature, tingling, or dullness. The aromatic molecules of eucalyptus and sesame act on the limbic system, the emotional and sensory center of the brain, gently restoring that connection. This is why after a proper massage, people often report not only warmth but also calmness and clarity. The body and mind, for a few moments, rediscover their rhythm. This oil blend is also uniquely supportive for those who struggle with restless legs, nighttime cramps, or a general feeling of heaviness after walking or standing. By improving circulation and reducing inflammation, it eases the strain on the veins and muscles. The legs begin to feel lighter, as though the blood is finally flowing freely again. The color of the skin brightens, the texture softens, and the sense of fatigue gives way to a quiet vitality. Unlike chemical creams that rely on synthetic compounds to produce temporary sensation, this natural formula works in harmony with the body's own repair cycle. When applied before bedtime, it complements the body's nightly renewal process, that window of deep rest when tissues rebuild and regenerate. The oils act as catalysts, feeding the skin while the body does its work beneath the surface. By morning, one doesn't simply see smoother skin, one feels the difference, a subtle but unmistakable pulse of life returning to the legs. What makes this formula truly powerful is its simplicity. No synthetic additives, no artificial fragrance, no hidden chemicals, just pure, living oils that the body recognizes as its own. Over time, they re-educate the legs in the art of circulation, hydration, and nerve response functions that age had only temporarily silenced. The true transformation does not lie merely in the oil itself, but in the way it is applied, the ritual, the rhythm, the warmth of the hands, and the direction of each motion. A daily leg massage using the right oil becomes more than self-care. It becomes therapy in motion, a physical conversation between your hands and your body's circulatory system. Most people underestimate how much the act of massaging influences healing. It is not about rubbing the skin, it is about awakening what lies beneath, the capillaries, the muscles, and the lymphatic flow that together maintain the health and vitality of the legs. The technique begins with stillness. Before applying any oil, the legs must be prepared. Sit comfortably in a quiet place, allowing the muscles to relax. The body responds best to touch when it feels safe and calm, so take a few slow breaths before you begin. Warm the oil slightly, just enough so that when you place a drop on your wrist, it feels pleasantly hot but not burning. This warmth is not a luxury, it is essential. Warm oil signals to the skin that nourishment is arriving. It opens the pores, improves absorption, and gently stimulates vasodilation, the widening of small blood vessels that allows for better oxygen flow. Cold oil, by contrast, shocks the skin and slows circulation. Once the oil is ready, begin at the ankles. Always move in an upward direction from the ankle toward the knee and from the knee toward the thigh. This motion supports the natural return of venous blood to the heart, countering the effects of gravity. Many people unknowingly massage downward, which may feel comfortable but encourages stagnation. Upward motion, slow and rhythmic, helps retrain the body's circulatory reflexes. The hand should move with moderate pressure, firm enough to engage the muscles, yet gentle enough to respect the skin. Imagine your palms as pumps, guiding life back through the channels that time has slowed. Start by using long, sweeping strokes up the shin, alternating hands, in a continuous rhythm. As you move upward, pause occasionally to make small circular motions with your fingertips, especially around the calves where many people experience tightness or fluid accumulation. These circles mimic the natural pulsing of the blood vessels and stimulate lymphatic drainage. The goal is not to create friction, but to encourage flow, a steady, wave-like motion that sends warmth deep into the tissue. When you reach the knee, spend a few extra moments there. The joint is a crossroads of circulation, tendons, and ligaments, and it often retains stiffness. Use both thumbs to draw gentle spirals around the kneecap, avoiding direct pressure on the bone. This movement loosens fascia, the thin sheath of connective tissue that can restrict mobility when dehydrated, and helps release any trapped fluid in the area. Afterward, continue the upward motion toward the thighs, again using long, gentle strokes. The thighs house some of the largest muscles in the body, which means they store both tension and strength. By massaging them, you're not only improving blood flow to the legs, but also enhancing circulation to the lower torso and hips. Breathing plays a silent but powerful role during this process. Inhale deeply through your nose as you begin each upward stroke, and exhale slowly as you complete it. This synchronized breathing helps calm the nervous system and deepens relaxation. As the body relaxes, the blood vessels naturally expand, allowing the oil's nutrients to reach deeper layers. The combination of touch, warmth, and breath transforms a simple act into a full-body restorative practice. After 5 to 7 minutes of continuous movement, you may begin to feel subtle changes, a tingling sensation, a spreading warmth, or even a lightness in the legs. These are signs that circulation is awakening. The oil is no longer resting on the surface, it is working within, dissolving stiffness, hydrating dry tissues, and bringing new energy to tired muscles. If you notice that one leg feels colder or heavier than the other, spend extra time there. The body communicates through sensation. Learn to listen. Where there is discomfort, there is often stagnation. Where warmth returns, healing has begun. Another important element of this technique is timing. The best time to perform the massage is before sleep. During nighttime rest, the body's parasympathetic nervous system, the one responsible for healing and regeneration, becomes dominant. The skin becomes more permeable, and cellular repair accelerates. By massaging before bed, you ensure that the oil's nutrients are absorbed during the most restorative hours of the night. The legs, now fully nourished and relaxed, begin their natural recovery process as you sleep. The improvement, though subtle at first, compounds each night. For those who struggle with swelling or fluid retention, the massage can include a few extra steps. After applying the oil, elevate the legs for 2 to 3 minutes, either by resting them on a pillow or leaning them against a wall. This simple posture uses gravity to assist lymphatic drainage, reducing pressure in the lower limbs. Then, resume gentle upward strokes, allowing the warmed oil to glide easily over the skin. The combination of elevation and massage clears the congestion that builds up in the legs from standing or sitting for long periods. It's also helpful to focus on temperature, contrast. If possible, rinse your legs with warm water before the massage. The warmth primes the blood vessels for expansion. Then, after the massage, wrap your legs lightly with a towel or cover them with a blanket to retain the heat. This retained warmth acts like a mini sauna for the skin, amplifying the penetration of the oil. Within minutes, the legs begin to feel softer, lighter, and alive, the skin absorbing nourishment while the deeper layers reawaken. Beyond circulation, this ritual carries a psychological effect that is often overlooked. When you massage your legs, you are reminding the body that these limbs still matter, that they still carry purpose. Many older adults begin to disconnect from their lower body as they age, moving less and feeling detached from their legs. This disconnection is more than physical, it is energetic. Regular massage rebuilds that connection, restoring awareness and appreciation for the body's foundation. It grounds the mind in the present, bringing calm and confidence back into movement. Consistency is the quiet miracle here. Even 5 minutes daily, when done correctly, can transform the way the legs feel and function. The circulation improves, the nerves regain sensitivity, and the muscles begin to feel stronger. The skin texture changes, dryness fades, and a faint, healthy glow appears. These are visible reflections of inner renewal. Each stroke of the hand, each circle of warmth tells the body that it is safe to heal. Over days and weeks, the body begins to respond with gratitude, not through words, but through lightness, balance, and strength. When the right oil is applied with mindful technique and consistency, the body begins to respond almost immediately. The legs, which for years may have been heavy, cold, or marked by fatigue, start showing subtle but undeniable signs of awakening. Within the first day or two, the skin begins to soften, not just at the surface, but in texture, tone, and warmth. That slight stiffness many people feel in the calves after sitting or sleeping starts to fade. This early shift is not magic, it is biology reacting to stimulation. The oil opens the microchannels of circulation, feeding oxygen back into tissues that had been starved of it. The cells begin to drink again, to breathe again, and that simple renewal brings visible change. By the third day, those who stay consistent often notice that their legs feel different to the touch. They no longer feel dry or rough. Instead, there's a smooth elasticity returning, like the surface of well-nourished skin. The tiny, fine lines caused by dehydration begin to fade, and a natural glow starts to replace the dull, papery texture that often accompanies aging. What is happening beneath the surface is even more fascinating. The blood vessels, once sluggish, are rediscovering their rhythm. The lymphatic system is clearing out stagnant fluids, which is why swelling around the ankles or calves may noticeably decrease. This reduction in puffiness is a sign that your legs are no longer holding on to excess waste and water. The body's drainage system has reactivated. As the days continue, a gentle warmth begins to spread through the lower limbs, particularly at night. Many older adults describe their feet as constantly cold, even under blankets, but this changes as microcirculation strengthens. Warmth is not just comfort. It is proof that oxygen and nutrients are once again moving freely through the capillaries. When warmth returns, it signals that life is flowing again, that energy, blood, and vitality are reaching the extremities. The dull ache that once came after a short walk diminishes, replaced by a feeling of lightness that had long been missing. Around the fifth day, something even more remarkable begins to happen. Color returns. Areas that once appeared pale or slightly bluish, a sign of poor circulation, start showing a healthy pink tone. This isn't surface pigmentation. It is the natural flush of oxygen-rich blood nourishing the skin from within. The veins appear less pronounced, the texture of the skin more uniform. Those fine networks of capillaries that feed every cell of the dermis are finally open again. The difference may seem cosmetic at first, but it reflects deeper physiological repair. When the skin regains its natural hue, it means the tissue beneath is thriving. People who have been struggling with leg cramps, particularly at night, often find relief around this same period. These cramps are usually caused by a lack of blood flow or electrolyte imbalance in tired muscles. The oil, with its mineral content and circulation-enhancing compounds, restores fluid exchange at the cellular level. Muscles that once knotted suddenly relax. The gentle nightly massage itself trains the legs to stay loose and supple, reducing stiffness that builds up from sitting or standing for long hours. When the muscles receive steady nourishment, their fibers rebuild and recover more efficiently, creating strength from within rather than surface relaxation. By the sixth day, the results become more visible and tangible. The skin of the legs feels thicker in a good way, not swollen, but more alive, more structured. Collagen production, once sluggish, begins to reawaken. This is partly due to the mechanical stimulation of massage, but also because the oils feed the fibroblast cells that produce collagen and elastin. These two proteins are responsible for the skin's firmness and flexibility. When they are revived, the skin no longer looks thin or brittle. It begins to hold moisture naturally, reflecting light with a healthy, youthful sheen. The legs start to resemble what they once were, not aged and fragile, but strong and nourished. Those who pay close attention also begin to notice changes in how their legs feel during daily movement. Walking becomes smoother. Climbing stairs no longer sends a dull ache through the knees. This is because the deeper tissues, muscles, fascia, and veins are regaining their cooperation. The regular flow of oxygenated blood reduces inflammation in the joints and flushes out lactic acid from the muscles. Each step feels supported, cushioned by tissues that are finely hydrated and elastic. The legs no longer feel like weights to be carried, but extensions of vitality and balance. The oil's influence reaches even the smallest nerves. As the microcirculation improves, nerve endings that once fired irregularly due to oxygen deprivation start functioning normally again. That familiar tingling, often mistaken for restlessness, fades as the nerves receive proper nourishment. The communication between brain and leg grows sharper, allowing for steadier coordination and movement. The difference is subtle but profound. The sense of connection between mind and body strengthens, bringing both awareness and comfort. By the seventh day, these changes begin to weave together. The skin tone looks brighter and more even. The legs feel lighter, warmer, more responsive. The swelling that once lingered by evening is gone or dramatically reduced. Even the color and temperature of the feet start to mirror the rest of the body, showing that blood flow has normalized. The transformation that began as a simple act of applying oil now becomes a visible renewal. What you see on the outside, the softness, the tone, the glow, mirrors the quiet restoration happening beneath. The legs, once heavy and fatigued, begin to move with confidence again. Every small sign during this week, the warmth, the color, the lightness, represents the body's own intelligence returning to balance. The oil doesn't force change, it invites it. It reminds the skin and muscles of what they are capable of. When applied consistently, it doesn't just rejuvenate the surface, but restores the intricate harmony between circulation, nerve health, and tissue repair. The process may feel gentle, but it is deeply transformative, a 7-day dialogue between the hands, the oil, and the living body beneath the skin. The true success of this practice rests not in a single miraculous application, but in consistency, the quiet repetition of care, performed with patience and rhythm. The body does not respond to sudden interventions. It listens to patterns, to what is repeated faithfully. Just as plants do not bloom after one watering, the legs too require ongoing nourishment to awaken their natural vitality. Each evening, when the day's motion slows and the body prepares for rest, the act of applying oil becomes a gentle reminder to the body that repair time has come. This timing is not incidental, it is biological. At night, while the conscious mind retreats into sleep, the body's intelligence awakens. It begins to repair tissues, balance hormones, and flush away toxins accumulated throughout the day. Blood flow redistributes, focusing on the skin, the liver, and the muscles. The parasympathetic nervous system, often called the rest and digest system, takes control, guiding the body into restoration mode. This is the ideal window to apply nourishing oils. When the oil is massaged into the legs just before sleep, the skin's absorption capacity increases, pores open slightly in the warmth of night, and circulation deepens as the body relaxes. The nutrients from the oil penetrate more effectively, reaching the deeper tissues that daytime stress often constricts. Consistency also helps the body establish a rhythm of expectation. When the same action is repeated each night, the body begins to prepare for it subconsciously. Just as the stomach releases digestive enzymes before a regular mealtime, the skin and muscles respond more readily when care arrives predictably. Over time, the mere act of preparing the oil, warming it, holding it between your palms, signals to the nervous system that healing is about to occur. This anticipation enhances the results. The vessels begin to dilate even before the first touch, and the body enters a receptive state, ready to absorb and regenerate. It is also during the night that circulation naturally slows, especially in the extremities. Gravity, which aids blood flow during the day when we move, becomes a quiet adversary in stillness. By applying oil before bed, you are essentially preparing your legs for the long hours of immobility ahead. The warmth of the oil keeps blood flow active, preventing stagnation and morning stiffness. It preserves a gentle pulse of life through the night, ensuring that the legs wake refreshed rather than swollen or heavy. Those who suffer from early morning cramping or numbness often find that this simple nightly ritual eliminates those sensations altogether. The repetition of massage each evening also improves muscle memory. The hands teach the legs to release tension, to soften under touch. This matters more than it seems. Many older adults carry unconscious tightness in their calves, thighs, and ankles, remnants of years spent walking, climbing, or even worrying. These tensions subtly restrict blood and lymph flow, contributing to fatigue and swelling. Consistent nightly massage retrains the muscles to relax fully, breaking long-held patterns of constriction. Over time, this leads to a deeper sense of lightness and mobility, even when the person is not actively massaging. The body learns relaxation as a new default. Timing, too, extends beyond the night itself. There is a rhythm to the week, and the body's responsiveness often follows that rhythm. For most, the first few days are about reawakening the body, learning to trust the process again. By the middle of the week, the deeper layers begin to engage. The warmth lasts longer, the skin absorbs faster, and the fatigue lifts more noticeably. But by the end of the first week, something more profound occurs. The body starts to integrate the benefits into its natural cycle. The legs stay warmer throughout the day. The skin retains softness without constant reapplication. The circulation, once dependent on external stimulation, begins to sustain itself more efficiently. This is the cumulative power of consistency, the difference between temporary comfort and lasting vitality. There is also a delicate relationship between the timing of oil application and the body's internal temperature. Applying oil too early in the evening, when the body is still warm from activity, can reduce absorption because the skin's surface is already flushed. The ideal moment is after the body has cooled slightly but before it becomes cold, usually within 30 minutes before bedtime. In this transitional phase, the pores are responsive and the body is beginning to redirect its resources toward recovery. Applying oil at this hour aligns perfectly with the body's own healing rhythm. It is as if nature itself collaborates in the process. The consistency of the ritual also carries a mental and emotional effect. With each nightly session, a sense of calm begins to replace the day's noise. The rhythmic motion of the hands, the scent of the oil, the slow return of warmth to the skin, all of these elements combine to soothe the nervous system. Stress hormones drop, the heart rate steadies, and breathing deepens. This calmness does not only serve the mind, it directly benefits circulation. When the body is tense or anxious, blood vessels constrict, limiting oxygen flow. When the body relaxes, they expand naturally, allowing the oils to do their work unhindered. Thus, the nightly routine becomes both a physical and emotional renewal. Even the environment in which the oil is applied plays a role in timing. A quiet, dimly lit room helps the body shift from alertness to rest. Soft lighting and silence or gentle instrumental music can amplify the relaxation response. The goal is to allow the mind to slow down as the hands work. Each element contributes to creating a signal to the body, now is the time to heal. In that tranquil state, every stroke of the hand, every drop of oil becomes more effective. Consistency also builds awareness. As you massage your legs each night, you begin to notice subtle differences. The texture of the skin, the temperature of different areas, the presence or absence of tension. These observations become a kind of dialogue with your body. You learn to sense when circulation is improving, when hydration is returning, when the skin begins to glow again. This awareness itself encourages progress. The act of paying attention brings energy and intention to healing, which amplifies its effects. Over weeks, this nightly consistency transforms into a quiet discipline. What begins as a simple health routine becomes an anchor, a moment each day where one reconnects with their own body. The repetition nourishes both the tissues and the spirit. The oil becomes more than a remedy. It becomes a language of care, spoken through the hands at the perfect hour when the body listens most intently. Each night as the world grows still and the body softens into rest, the legs receive what they have long been asking for: warmth, touch, and the steady promise of renewal through consistency and timing.